What is up, guys? Evan Aldo here. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Wanted to give you guys a couple updates since the video I uploaded yesterday, and here are the latest trades. So far, I've been right about Ethereum. We have jumped up a little bit. The main things I noticed, if you look at funding rates, more and more people have kind of gotten scared, I guess, or saw something on the charts or whatever, or for whatever fundamental reason maybe, have open shorts. Which not always this is an indication that you're gonna go up and blow all those shorts out, but a lot of times it is. Funding rates are getting healthier for potential longs, so that's a good thing as well, and maybe a little bit more fear in the market kind of over there. And I think that ultimately this strengthens the argument to continue that potential jump that we were talking about. So I mean, I have this trade, kind of more info is in on it in the Discord down below. Check out that first link down below for the Discord. There's a VIP section and a free section as well if you guys are interested. And I post in the VIP section like the stop losses, entry points, take profits for all these swing trades. A lot of really good trades we have in there. More info on that, but I ultimately, I think that you shouldn't really lose too much of the swing low. I forget exactly where it is, probably around, if we zoom in on this chart on Ethereum, right around 4,300. We should be able to keep that. We'll see what happens, though. It's still the weekend. So yeah, and by the way, guys, if you want to trade, if you want one free month, also if you want one free month in the Aldo Empire VIP Discord, those premium channels, if you sign up and deposit at least $100 to any of the exchanges down below, give you one free month in there. You get up to 100K deposit and trade rewards with BloFin, plus 20% off your fees for life, 25% off your fees for life with Bitunix, along with my link. I wish they would kind of post it there on the link. Oh well, but 100K bonus as well. And last but not least, BYDFI, 20% off your fees for life, plus 10K worth of Bitcoin giveaway for trading volume. So check them out if you guys are interested, and if you do deposit at least $100 on any of those, make sure you open a support ticket with your UID or your email in the Discord, and we'll get you sorted for the free month. So yeah, so ultimately, I guess you could start, with kind of Bitcoin. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, but the 8-hour looks good, and that's definitely I would say the most bullish case, would be August 19th, August 20th, trigger wave up to 129K. This would easily probably bring you a new all-time high for Ethereum, maybe like 5,300 for Ethereum, 5,200, which is a good place that I'm kind of eyeing right now. So, that's a good thing to kind of keep our eyes on. I guess you do have a couple like minor bearish things here, like on your 3-day and some of your higher time frames, but I don't think that's going to play out just yet. I think you have at least one little, more leg up, and I think the weekly would kind of strengthen that argument right here. So that's what I would kind of look at and argue when I look at, kind of these time frames and all of this on Bitcoin potentially jumping up higher here, and Ethereum, the one everyone wants to know about, obviously. It's still Ethereum season. That could end. We'll talk about that in a second. Altcoin season could actually be starting very, very, very soon. I'll talk about that in just a second. But trigger wave here on your 8-hour, potentially bringing you up to 5,300 by August 20th. So 3-4 more days. I mean, it's not impossible as we get markets open and next couple of days and all that. I mean, bearish case would obviously be a rejection here, but not looking as bearish as possible yet. I think that I think that you still got some room. Still think you got some room to kind of continue forward here. So that's what I'm ultimately kind of looking at, and getting up to these highs or that. You got the trigger wave right there. Yeah, like I mentioned, yeah, looks good. Looks pretty good. ETH versus Bitcoin, I think that should continue forward. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but I think, as I've mentioned a lot, I think you got potentials to keep going here. I don't see anything too bad as of yet. Hopefully breaking upward in September or October to these big areas against Bitcoin. So racing, 42% upward, erasing all the pain you saw since October of 23, which would be pretty good, hopefully. And now we'll talk about why we may potentially be seeing the start of alt season. So as soon as ETH makes that new all-time high, or even before, we're getting close to that, others versus Ethereum, I think will bottom out here and it will kind of jump. And that's similar to kind of what we saw, in July of 2024, and you came up quite a bit. Also in the 4-year cycle right here, August of 21, we came lower in that, but similar area. And you have little snake eyes under 3-day and 2-day as well. So there's those potentials. Same thing right there. I mean, I could see, I don't know if it's going to be this extended, but I could see, probably not until June of 26, unless you see like a really extended cycle, but I don't think that'll happen. But I could see, into a couple months in, 2026, let's see where it topped out in, it actually topped out early in 21, but, January 22, and then another peak in June of 22. So I guess it generally could be pretty high against Ethereum until, summer of 2026. But that's, keep in mind that things could have gone down 70% in that amount of time, from their highs later this year or early next year. So that's what we got to keep in mind. But short term, next few months, I think we're gonna do pretty well here. This really could be the start of alt season. Chainlink continues to kind of show some strength. Yeah, some more strength than we saw since Tuesday. Trying to jump up to 28, and I think this is easily a $30 coin. And then this has got a good shot of making new all-time highs. This definitely has got a good shot of making new all-time highs. This cycle, Link versus ETH, that's got a lot of potential to jump. Big area, I like that weekly, especially the weekly at 2 weeks good. This looks really good. I don't know why I wanted to look at Dogecoin. I think there's potential for this to jump like everything else. Some people have been talking about this on Twitter or whatnot, so I figured why just look at it. I think you got a good shot of getting back to 48 and then hopefully new all-time high, or bouncing, rejecting from that point. If I had to guess, you probably reject from this old all-time high in a few months or something, and that's Doge. But AVAX versus ETH, not as good as Chainlink versus ETH, but if you could reclaim this level, there's some potential here. We're trying to reclaim that level. So that's what we got to wait for there. I mean, you got some snake eyes, some good stuff kind of forming. I think AVAX has got some potential, at least getting up to $30, hopefully in the next week, 2 weeks, next few days even, getting up to that $30 mark. So that's pretty big there. Cardano versus ETH, I think, is really good right now because you're jumping from a big level. And I think you're getting some, like, your 6-day, you're getting some good green dots and such, getting some good stuff. Money flow, or price coming up, money flow coming up, a lot of good things here. I think you should at least get up to these highs here in February against Ethereum, but hopefully, back up to these higher highs there. We'll see what happens. I mean, it is kind of diminished since 17 there, but hopefully it could do, based on fundamentals or whatnot. I mean, some people like it, some people don't. I think it could do some damage though. Hopefully jump up to at least $2, at least a 2x from here. So there's that potential. I don't know. I mean, last but not least, Solana. I think this could jump up to, into end of month, potentially 260 if you do see some alts show some strength here. I want to look at Solana ETH, which is probably a really important one to look at. And I mean, we're not hitting that point yet, but this is still a significant point that I should probably mark out. You're kind of getting, I mean, Market Cipher in some ways is an indicator where you're supposed to kind of buy in the red, you know what I mean, especially in higher time frames. This came down a lot farther here, but that was bear market, you know what I mean? This is your, post-halving year. So in the red there, that could be a good buy signal on the evaluation versus Ethereum though. And I could see this rallying back up to, kind of these highs into October or something. So, I mean, this going up 100% against ETH, let's say ETH goes up to, peaks out at 7,000 or something. I mean, I could see, ETH peaking out at 7,000 would be, right there, 60% upward. What would Solana peaking out, doubling that? It would be 120, I believe. I could be doing the math wrong. Forgive me if I'm wrong in this, but 120%, 400. So that would be my guess. That'd be, if you want having all those price prediction for Ethereum, Solana, like Ethereum around somewhere in the 7,000s, this around somewhere in the 400s. That's my prediction. So I do think alts will do pretty well, next few months or something. I mean, I guess it could extend outward. It's hard to say when this will be over. I do think, if I had to guess, just based on history, that Bitcoin will peak out sometime in October. Alts, it could be a month later, 2 months later. It really depends. As I've told you guys a lot of times, and I'll continue to tell you guys, I think it makes the most sense to kind of DCA out from like beginning of October to end of December. So for example, what I'm going to do, not financial advice, but if I had, let's say, 10 Bitcoin or 10 Ethereum or whatever, or let's say 12 Ethereum, make it easy. It's 12 weeks. I would sell 1 Ethereum every week if I wanted to DCA out. It depends how much I want to keep. Maybe I want to keep 30%. Maybe I want to keep 50%. Then just sell half of an Ethereum every week, based on that. You got to pick your own battles, But what I'll tell you is I think the market looks pretty healthy right now. I think things look pretty good. So I'm really optimistic. I'm really optimistic for the week ahead too. I could be wrong, anything could happen. But yeah, always appreciate you guys smashing the like button. Check out the links down below if you guys are interested in trading. We'll see you guys in the Discord. We did a nice voice chat yesterday with some of you guys in the Discord. We'll do one of those again soon. So check it out if you guys are interested. I'll see you guys too soon. Goodbye.